YouTube is getting worse, and that's because it has to. It's not just you imagining things. YouTube is forcing people to turn off their ad blockers, recommending bad content, removing user feedback, allowing progressively worse advertisers on their platform, and trying to keep up with every new trend in video. I hate to be the one to tell you, but it's not going to get better from here.
I get that they're not removing the button. Apparently the button's still going to be there, but it's not going to do anything.
YouTube has confirmed that it is experimenting with blocking some users with ad blockers enabled from watching videos on the platform.
The update from YouTube is that the dislike button is staying, but the dislike counts will now be private.
This video is not the billionth episode of YouTuber Complains About YouTube. Instead, I want to look at the 4 business fundamentals driving decisions that is already making the platform worse for creators and viewers. My own controversial opinion on this is that YouTube has become trapped actually paying creators too much, which is a really dumb thing to say as a full-time YouTube creator. But by the end of this video, you might just agree with me. YouTube has monopolized the online video sharing market. The runners-up, TikTok, Facebook, Bilibili, and Twitch don't even come close in terms of total engagement. Of these companies, only Meta's Facebook competes with YouTube's core offering of user-generated video on demand, but that is secondary to Facebook's core functionality of keeping up to date with what the boomers are angry about. All of the other platforms operate in a niche, like short-form content on TikTok, live video streaming on Twitch, and servicing the Chinese market for Bilibili. These sites don't compete with YouTube, but YouTube does compete with them. Months after TikTok started gaining market dominance, YouTube reacted by launching YouTube Shorts. And the site also competes directly with Twitch for live stream content. Having monopolized the market for video streaming, moving into these other niches was good, but it created the first reason why YouTube has to get worse. It's doing everything badly instead of one thing well. Despite its dominance, there are certain video categories that YouTube has failed dramatically to break into. The biggest missed opportunity is premium paid content. YouTube operates by making a tiny amount of money off a massive amount of people, and that means the content on their site is necessarily low budget. The largest creators on the platform may wow viewers with how much they spend on their videos, but even Mr. Beast is only creating something that is akin to a mid-budget reality TV show. He also produces less content than a similar show that would air on traditional media outlets because his videos are shorter and released less frequently. Paid subscription streaming services or cable TV stations bring in a lot more money on a per-viewer basis than YouTube because everybody that uses their platform pays for it. A web-based service like Netflix also has an expense advantage over YouTube on their content side. Netflix has to pay more to produce or license its content, where YouTube gets it for free from people uploading to their platform, but in return, Netflix has a more curated library of high-value content. In a Bloomberg feature from 2013, the company revealed that it compressed its entire library of movies and TV shows into a 2.75 petabyte master catalog. That's 2,800 times a terabyte, which is how much storage most high-end personal devices have. Since that report, there's been no reliable updates to the actual size of the Netflix library, but the number of movies and shows offered has actually shrunk since then. Compression has gotten better, and Netflix has not rolled out any new features like higher resolution that would demand more storage. YouTube has that much data uploaded to its servers every single day. Netflix and other streaming services pay for their content through licensing deals. YouTube pays for its content by handling billions of videos that will never get a single view so they can keep the tiny fraction of videos that do bring in revenue. Making a little bit of revenue from a lot of people is not as scalable as making a lot of revenue from a few people. Despite its undisputed market dominance, YouTube makes roughly 1/4 the revenue of Netflix, which operates in a market with roughly a dozen strong competitors. There are no new people left to sign up to YouTube. Everybody that wants to watch videos on the internet will already use it unless they live in a country where their access is restricted. When billions of gigabytes worth of data are being uploaded on servers every day, the only thing the company has left to do is switch from getting more users to getting more out of the users they have. The first way they did that was by offering more options. Now on YouTube, you can watch short-form, live streams, and pay-per-view movies, in addition to regular user-made videos on demand that people typically came to YouTube to watch. There's only so much space on the site's home screen and recommendation sidebars, so all of these options are leaving less room for the stuff that people usually came to YouTube for. With more competition than ever and less real estate on the site to fight over, even respectable creators have had to resort to clickbait thumbnails and videos that they know will do well. The site is also fighting itself for parts of your screen that actually makes it money. For those of you brave enough to use YouTube without an ad blocker, the site has been trying to push larger banner ads into the limited screen space it still has left, only splitting people's attention even more. For those of you who do use an ad blocker, don't feel too smug just yet, because it's time to learn how money works to find out why YouTube has to get worse. This week's lesson is sponsored by Trade Coffee. Now, I know you probably already know this by now, but I drink a lot of coffee in order to keep up with all the work I'm doing on this channel and my newly launched newsletter, Compounded Daily. But I've been sticking with the same coffee for a while. I mostly just drink the same boring coffee just to get me going. But now, since I've been using Trade Coffee, my old coffee just seems gross and disgusting. Trade Coffee has made coffee exciting again, connecting me with over 450 coffees from over 55 roasters including dark roasts, espressos, blends, and rare roasts. Their matching algorithm curates the perfect coffee match for you based on your taste preferences. For example, I enjoy a dark roast with a comforting and rich taste, so Trade matched me with Mother Tongue Coffee's Nebula Dark Roast, and it was incredible. One thing I've learned very quickly is fresh coffee is better coffee, and the coffee will always be shipped within 48 hours of being roasted. Get a free bag of coffee with any subscription purchase by going to drinktrade.com/howmanyworks. With free shipping, customizable plans, and anytime cancellation, Trade is making it easier to discover better coffee. YouTube does have a premium subscription service that costs $13.99 a month, which is more expensive than the cheapest Netflix plan, which is $6.99 a month with ads, but cheaper than their standard plan, which is $15.49 a month, which would be the most fair comparison because one of the biggest perks of YouTube Premium is the elimination of ads. YouTube Premium is actually a great service, and despite a common misconception, it still helps creators because Google splits premium revenue with creators the same way they split ad revenue. But it remains very unpopular, with less than 1% of users paying for a premium subscription to use the site because people are less likely to pay for something they are used to getting for free. And that's why the second reason YouTube has to get worse is all about the content. Most of the content you watch will be made by the top 1% of creators. According to the analytics firm PEX, less than 12% of videos uploaded to the site get more than 1,000 views, and only 0.77% of videos uploaded get over 100,000 views. The report also discovered that those videos which accounted for less than 1% of total uploads received 75% of all viewership. Creators making these videos consistently are doing it as at least a full-time job, and some make it a full-on business with employees helping them to make videos. The people you watch most are financially dependent on your viewership, so when the platform they built their audience with changed its business strategy from getting more users to getting more money out of existing users, the creators had to follow suit. Advertisers can now more carefully select exactly who they want to target with YouTube with their ads. But since YouTube, through a Google account, doesn't actually collect much information about their users directly, they have to figure it out based on what they are watching. Certain, safe, advertiser-friendly niches now attract a lot more money than they have ever before as YouTube becomes a more mainstream advertising platform. But a lot of creators in other content niches are getting no revenue at all.
Oh man.
You don't have to feel sorry for me, but my other channel, How History Works, does really well, getting about 50,000 views or more per video. But since most of history is pretty dark and advertisers don't want their brand associated with dark content, there is no way that anybody would be able to live on the revenue from that channel. Charlie Munger, the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, said that in business, if you show me the incentive, I will show you the outcome. YouTubers have been incentivized to make safer, longer, more advertiser-friendly content, so they have reacted by doing just that. The channels that do make this kind of content have been greatly rewarded with more lucrative revenue shares and more valuable sponsorship deals. This has enabled top creators to not only make content by hiring bigger teams, but also make content with a larger budget. Whether a bigger budget means better content, I will talk about soon. On the other hand, channels that don't make this kind of content won't make as much money and won't be able to create content as a full-time job. And they certainly won't be able to hire people to help make more videos. So this naturally led to less of the kind of content that YouTube first became famous for. Instead of making the risque and unrefined videos, the creators that drive most of the engagement on the site have been rewarded by making copies of the cheapest programming you would see on television: reality shows, talk shows, and news. Some of this content is very good, and it's impressive how far some creators can stretch their budgets, but they still don't have the same resources as a program with dedicated funding. A lot of content has become the worst of both platforms. They have the safe formulaic nature of program television, but without the budget. Ask yourself honestly, if YouTube wasn't right there for free on your computer or in your pocket, how much of the content that you consume would you actually sit down on the couch at the end of the day and watch? If you are brave enough, share your answers in the comments. And don't worry, my feelings won't be hurt if you wouldn't tune in to me, weekdays at 6. In addition to pushing content that is easier to run commercial breaks on, YouTube is making it harder to avoid those commercial breaks altogether. Ad blockers are the most cost-effective way to browse the internet ad-free, but most legacy media companies like news publishers have started cracking down on this practice by introducing ad blocker blockers. YouTube, which is owned by one of the biggest tech companies in the world, could easily introduce the same restrictions to increase their revenue per user, but they haven't yet for two reasons. Less people than you would expect are actually using ad blockers. According to multiple surveys run by Business Insider Intelligence, HubSpot, and CNET, only about 40% of internet users are running an adblock extension on their browser. For YouTube, it was easier to simply push more ads to the people that were not using ad blockers. The first reason is that it reduced audience pushback and made it less likely that another competitor would emerge to host the audience that wasn't willing to watch ads. From a commercial perspective, those viewers may have had a negative value, but maintaining a monopoly on content meant maintaining a monopoly on an audience as well. The second reason was because of the YouTube ads algorithm. You have all heard of the YouTube algorithm, which decides which thumbnails you are displayed, but you might not know that what ads get shown to you goes through a similar process. YouTube doesn't make money on ads until one of three things happens. The first thing is that you watch an ad for more than 30 seconds. The second is that you watch the entire ad if it is less than 30 seconds long, or the third is if you actually click on the ad. If you skip the ad as soon as you can, YouTube does not charge the advertiser and no money is paid. The YouTube ad algorithm has a very simple objective: maximize revenue. That means it has to show you the ad that is paying the highest rate that is most likely to get you to watch the whole thing all the way through. So if you are wondering why ads have become so obnoxiously attention-grabbing recently, now you know. Viewers that use ad blockers were a small part of the audience that would make a lot of noise and also be the least likely to engage with ad content in any meaningful way, so there wasn't much of an advantage to banning their use. But now that YouTube is basically unchallenged, it's starting to change that policy by slowly blocking ad blockers in test markets before it rolls it out worldwide. This is all a part of what the science fiction author and journalist Cory Doctorow coined as the enshittification of online platforms in an infamous article he wrote for Wired at the beginning of this year. According to Doctorow, new platforms offer useful products and services at a loss as a way to gain new users. Once users are logged in, the platform then offers access to the user base to suppliers at a loss. And once the suppliers are logged in, the platform shifts surpluses to shareholders. Enshittified platforms, which act as intermediaries like YouTube does between content creators and viewers, can functionally act as both a monopoly on services and a monopsony on customers, as high switching costs prevent either from leaving even when alternatives technically exist. Enshittification has happened to every new technology platform that offered a service that seemed too good to be true, and senior management at YouTube has a fiduciary duty to shareholders to make it happen here too. A controversial solution that is going to win me no friends amongst my fellow content creators is just to pay creators less. Currently, creators that are a part of the YouTube Partner Program get 55% of net revenues from ads displayed on their long-form videos, and 45% of the revenue from the Shorts ad pool prorated on their share of views. YouTubers are more stuck on this platform than viewers, and if people think of it as a place to share videos that they are proud of instead of a place where they can get rich, it'll greatly improve the content quality on the platform. It's that slow and steady approach that saved another one of America's most powerful companies in the world from not only one, but 5 market crashes. Only where YouTube has only been around for 18 years, this company has survived for 154. So go and watch my new video over on how history works to find out how Goldman got its sacks. And remember, if you want to watch these videos dearly and get daily articles that will never be made into videos for YouTube, then subscribe to my new email newsletter Compounded Daily to keep on learning how money works.